Thanks, the colder your lunch is going to be. So, yes, let's get going. So, we're going to hit day one here. So this is patient's first exam coming to the office. This is their one day. This is their first impression. This sets the tone for everything that happens in your office. As a good example, so we just found out someone was booked in our office automatically, did not respond to a phone call. She just showed up, thinking we were open today, coming for a new patient exam. Knowing this was her, the blonde lady that no one knew who was. I'm like, oh, is there a new doctor coming and showing up late? Knowing that this is her first impression, I chose to step in, asked her what's going on, explained what the mix-up must have been. I really apologize. We have a ton of doctors here for training right now. We don't normally do this, but we can get a time for you right away tomorrow on a Saturday, because we don't normally take new patients on a Saturday, especially anyone who's not directly referred. Or right away on Monday, we're going to find a time that would work for you. I really apologize. She said, no problem. We got her booked for tomorrow, right? It's the first impression. Everything you do within 7 seconds, they are judging you. It's your response to it. So this is what's so important about day one. Day one, we are going to train on this, and this is what we're going to hit before lunch. We're going to train on tour for team. We're going to train on the pre-consult for the doctors or the techs, depending on your roles in the office. The connection on day one happens before they show up in the office. So it happens on that confirmation call or the booking call or whatever that is. The key point in that is you have to get their hot button, the reason they're coming to your office. And they are not coming for their pain. They are not coming for their symptom. That's not the reason they're coming to your office. That symptom, whatever they're dealing with, is affecting something in their life. That is why they took the time to pick up the phone, click on an ad, whatever that is, to communicate with your office. It's the reason they would take time to show up to your office. It's the only reason they would commit to care. It's not their symptom. If you do not get that hot button, your chances of conversion go down significantly. Your chance of understanding the patient, be able to help them, go down significantly. So if Tony's coming in and he's calling up, hey, I got back pain, my team's first question, they're gonna make sure they understand him, and how's this back pain affecting you? Or if that doesn't work, if you didn't have this back pain anymore, what would you do more of? This is gonna tell me what's important to him. That then becomes his reminder call for his new patient exam. Hey Tony, we got you set up for Tuesday at 3 o'clock to find the cause of your back pain that's affecting your ability to play hockey with your girls. That shows up in your huddle before shift. We are seeing Tony today. He's coming in here today. He's been dealing with back pain for the last 5 years. His biggest concern, he can't play sports with his kids. We know a lot more about Tony.
Can I add? This is good. So, human psychology. Men typically are more concerned about pain and what it's costing them.
That's what we do patient for.
So think about this. So if I'm a real estate person and I'm selling a house to a man, and the man is the primary buyer of the house, I'm saying, okay, I'm focusing on things like, oh, the roof was just done. In fact, it's a steel roof, so you'll never have to replace it again. So think about the cost of replacing a roof like this, right? Oh, the yard is small, so it'll take you a lot less time to manicure the yard than what you're dealing with now, right? So I'm trying to figure out points. Oh, the other thing was, they just redid the driveway. It was just done last summer, so you won't have to worry about repaving or reconcreting the driveway for 20, 25 years, right? And then what's that going to say? So men focus on those types of points. Women, pleasure, experiences, family, right? So if I'm selling a house to a woman, look at this beautiful great room. Can you picture your Christmas tree up in the corner over there? You know, and your family all sitting around. Look at this size. Look at the size of this kitchen and dining area. You could have a table that seats 10 people. Imagine your family gatherings here. So these are some different points psychology-wise. So when you're talking about experiences or hot buttons, you can think about that when it comes to people. Women are more feel emotional experiential. men or more, what is this costing you? Like, if you've got this back pain, like, have you had to miss work, what's that costing you?
Stick-driven or
Right.
carrot-driven, right?
Yeah.
I'm going towards something or I'm trying to avoid something.
Yeah.
The other piece I would tell you should have before the patient ever comes in your office is you should have your intake form, and your intake form should have all the details you need for the exam already. So this is our paper one. We have an online one as well, but in this one, so it's got all their details like their personal information, their major complaint, any past accidents, any rate. It's got the whole low Dr. Ficara thing for all the doctors, right? It has a complete systems review. It's also got a section on goals, short, medium, long-term goals. If you are not getting this before they come in the office, if you make this part of your exam process, I'm gonna sit down and talk to you, I'm telling you it's backwards. It is backwards. When we have this, we can go into the huddle and whoever our what we call our NCA, who manages all new patients, she will tell us. So we have Tony coming in today, and they can tell us everything about Tony. So we already know and we can understand Tony better before he shows up into our room. We know the other secondary factors that might be going on. Tony's got back pain, but also he checked off a lot of digestive trouble as well, right? If you can identify with somebody before the first interaction, my ability to help Tony now is gonna be way better. Tony's ability to understand that what the reasons I'm here for is it's a win-win situation, right? So this is the piece you wanna set up. If anyone, because I've talked to people about this, if anyone wants our paperwork, our new patient paperwork, put your email on that, my team will email it to you.
What happens if they don't fill it out and send it back?
What's the communication to lead up to that? And is there, I've heard some offices say if you're, sorry to interrupt, if you haven't done it by this time, then some people say we will change your appointment.
No, we do not confirm the appointment unless the paperwork is completed in advance, and we tell them that from the beginning. We encourage people to actually complete their paperwork right after they get off the call with us, so that way the doctor, I literally pre-frame it by saying, in order for the doctors to be able to take care of you best, they need this paperwork, so you are gonna wanna complete it today. And we have a daily process for contacting patients if they haven't completed the paperwork, to either call them or text them and make sure that they complete it, so that way we can be prepared to receive them when they come in for their examination. It's for us to be able to deliver the best possible experience to them, and that's the way we sell it to them.
And the chance of them showing up, they haven't filled the paperwork's pretty low.
What about like really old patients?
Then they come 20 minutes early.
If someone can't do it over the computer or whatever it is, we tell them to come early, because it's gonna take time. It's very detailed, so we tell them come with at least 15 minutes prior to your appointment to be able to complete it in the office.
If the exam room is booked for you at 11:30, if you need to fill the paperwork, you need to be here at 11 to fill the paperwork. Your exam's at 11:30. Any other questions on? But that is a big one, especially like Facebook stuff. Like if they haven't filled out the paperwork, the chance of them showing up, in my experience, pretty low. They haven't made that commitment. So our wording is we don't confirm the appointment. You can show up, but we will also book another new patient or another exam in that spot. So if you show up and you haven't filled your paperwork, you may or may not get your exam done. If you happen to show up and there's nothing else booked in there, shit, we'll take care of it. But otherwise, you might be showing up to fill out your paperwork and come back another time to get your exam done. But again, it's our bar. Like one of our things is you gotta be swimming towards a boat. Meet me halfway. All right. Intention of day one. So these are the things a patient should leave the first day in their office, first day in your office, feeling. They should leave feeling they were able to fully articulate the problem to the doctor. So they feel that you understand that. So if I come in, we'll demo this after, I won't get into that. That they feel the doctor understands their problem. And they feel a thorough exam was done to determine the cause of their problem. You need to earn the chance to teach them about subluxation. If Tony comes in and talks to me about his neck pain, his back pain, his digestive issues, his whatever, and I go right into subluxation, I don't connect the dots for him, this has become about me and not about him. The chance of that person getting the big idea have shrunk considerably. Any questions on that? that's the flow. So what we're gonna do here is we are gonna go through a tour for a day one tour. So for our CA's team, you'll be training on the tour to the office. And then for the docs, or we're gonna talk about the pre-consult. If you do a lot of the exams in your office, you may wanna stick to that section as well. I'm gonna explain both. Camille will demo the tour. You'll have to fake the area where all the chairs are. I will then demo a pre-consult, which means I'll probably need spine. Demo the pre-consult, just think about that in advance. We're then gonna break up and train in small groups. CAs will go through, you'll give tours. Did anyone not give a tour in their office right now? So everyone's doing tours? And then the docs will train in groups of 3 on doing a pre-consult. We'll then come back for that, and then we'll break for lunch. Okay? So the steps to a tour, you'll see my team do that, but there's a welcome. We talk about what chiropractic is in our office, and that we're not mom and pop chiropractic, right? This is not the chiropractor down the street. There is a differentiation of what we are and what we stand for in our office. We stop at the testimonial wall. This is where we put hope, right? So we'll talk about a testimony of a patient who has a similar initial presenting complaint as they did, and how we hope for them to be up there as well. So we're pre-framing the success they'll have in our office. We will briefly, in like 2 sentences, talk about this area, which is the difference that we have in our open concept and our advanced rehab and corrective techniques. And again, this is like, I think Nola talked about like pop and pray chiropractic, right? Like, let's see what happens, right? There is no guessing in what we do. And then we'll talk a bit about the certificates, and they get dropped off in the exam room. So Camille, when she does it, she's gonna get you up to here, and you're just gonna have to pretend that she's gone into the exam room where she's dropped patients off. Who's not gonna get there, okay? For the doc, there is steps through this where the first interaction when you enter the room with the patient is to build rapport, and we'll talk about what those steps look like, okay? You're gonna confirm the history. So I'll be able to tell Tony, I know you're dealing with X, Y, Z, that's affecting you this way. It's just clarifying questions. So it's really short, like this takes 5 minutes. We'll talk about their concern. We'll talk about the doctor's concern. We're gonna talk about what we're looking for in the nerve chart of the spine, and then next steps. So the patient knows exactly what to expect in that process. They know what tests are coming. They know if x-rays are taken, that they're back the next day.
Hey, how many people here are married? So Tara, I'll ask you, when your husband proposed to you, did you kind of expect it was coming? Did you know it was?
Yeah, I've already proposed like 3 times, but yeah.
All right. So,
The first 2 weren't good enough?
Well, it was all good. Proposing.
But by the
You had to go
by
back
the time,
and do the script training.
by the time you said yes.
Oh, yeah, I
you
said
knew-
yes the
you knew
first
this-
time.
You said yes the first time,
yes.
right? So you knew it was coming, you knew you were gonna
Yes,
say yes.
yes, yes.
So, Tony, how about you, when you proposed to your wife?
Did I know it was coming?
No. You proposed to her?
Yes.
All right, and did you expect she was gonna say yes?
Yes.
So I want you guys to think about, all the time that led up to that point, like, would you have proposed if you thought there was a chance she was gonna say no?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? So think about that. So the day 1, day 2, day 3 is working up to the time where you're gonna propose a care plan to them. You wanna be very confident they're gonna say yes. So there's a lot of steps in place, and this is all part of let's just be honest and call it part of the sales process. This is part of the conversion process. Right from the time they make their appointment. The reason they send the forms to them, this is all part of the conversion process. So don't skip these steps. Like, think of these guys are having great success with this. You think, oh, well, we do it a different way, we're gonna do it. Let's cease to be a seed here, okay? Start thinking about working your way to the proposal to make sure you're very confident you're gonna get a yes.
And if you're a DC2 client, you have access to all of the scripts.
All of it.
I am aware that some of you have never looked at them, but struggle with day 1. You have access to all the scripts. A great thing to do would be first maybe download them, print them off, whatever that looks like.
So
Read them a couple times, and then when you're on coaching calls with myself or Colin, we can work on that stuff.
You know, so we do have a client portal where all the videos we do, all like the calls are all uploaded, all the scripts. There's stuff on there that we don't even talk about, like flyers, handouts, day 2 handout, like what happens next to page, like all the stuff that we've used in our office, Brian's used, like all the scripts. You guys don't even know they're there. Like half of you haven't even signed up for the client portal yet. So there you go. Like it's all there for you. Right?
And with this, like when I got great at this, or when I was like trying to refine something, like I'm not loving the result of my day 1 or whatever, I would have like that's what I would do between patients. I would be working on my day 1. I would have it there and be like, okay, so what's the outcome I want from this section, and I would work on it. That's how I got good at it, right? So if it was like, hey, now I'm working on day 2 right now, and I got 3 day 2s, guess what? I was practicing all day long. I was practicing my day 2, right? And I was practicing to be great for those people.
You have a question?
Since we don't have a team member, are you, especially if okay if we take the tour so that we could then show team members who are not
absolutely.
here?
In fact, we are recording it, but if you want to.
I have.
That's what I am asking. Yeah,
I know the answer's
but
gonna be
sometimes
yes.
we like to show if it's just a small snippet, they can handle a little section. But I did
Great.
just want permission ahead.
We
Sounds
posted
good.
on the thing, so we're not all like with
Yeah,
our
well,
phones.
we have one video for everybody.
Yeah. On the portal.
So Justine will send it to Dr. Colin.
There we go.
Put
All
it on the
uploaded.
portal.
Okay.
Guess what?
Yep.
Okay. That's the
You wanna see it.
I'm not sure if that's the videographer, but I will do my best.
I'll upload it to YouTube and I'll send all you guys the link.
There we go.
Should you be the
Perfect.
patient?
1 million.
So,
Should you be the patient that's getting?
Oh, 'cause I want to like kind of follow her.
Ahmad just showed up too, thinking he's getting
Good idea.
Yeah, Ahmad just walked away.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Patient who works at RBC Welfare Centers thought he was coming for an adjustment too, I think.
He's already gone, it's okay.
He's too busy.
After doing this all. So, let's make up a patient. What do you guys got?
Mike Tyson.
Okay, so Mike's coming in. What's Mike's, and we can train on some objections. Give me something that you guys would typically see.
He's got that terrible lisp. He just can't.
He pronounces words wrong?
Traumatic brain injury.
He's got these markings on his face.
He can't seem to get his tongue to top of his mouth properly, so he just talks like
Coming
that
for a
all the
speech.
time.
So, give me something that would typically, we can go over, like, we can go through like digestive issues, we can go through like wellness, but let's do
Neck
some.
pain and asthma.
Okay. Married or not?
Yes.
What does he do for a living? Are we doing Mike Tyson? Boxer?
Professional boxer.
Okay. So the details we normally have on that exam sheet?
On top.
2 young kids.
Kids.
No kids.
Yeah.
Any other details you want in this Mike Tyson patient? How old's Mike? Well, if he's still a professional boxer, let's be honest.
32.
Yeah, Mike.
32?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prime years.
Yeah.
He's on acid reflux pills.
I had a new patient story my wife told me about yesterday. The patient called in, she's a vet, but this is another vet clinic. The mom called in, and her son identifies as a cat.
That's not
Nice
gonna
face for
I wanted the vet to do the checkup on the human child who identifies as a cat.
Come on.
That might qualify in our realm, that you gotta be swimming towards the boat first.
That's definitely somewhere away from the boat.
Yeah,
How would you have it?
you may not qualify in what we have for invasion exams.
On that one, they noted how long it was on.
Yeah, how long's Mike been dealing with this for?
18 years.
18 years. Alright, any other details you guys feel would be there?
It's on and off and it's not that serious.
As far as he's concerned.
Yeah.
Where did he find out about our office?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Facebook, yeah.
Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna, you got all that?
Yep.
That's why she's been here for 15 years.
So I'm going to try to talk as loud as I possibly can.
Who's Mike?
Promise it's Mike.
Perfect.
Yeah, I already did it. Let's go.
You look like Mr. Benson, yeah.
You're walking this way. Hello, good day, UC Mike. Welcome to our office. My name is Camille. I'll be helping you during your examination today. Thank you very much for completing your intake form. We've received all that information and the doctors have already reviewed it. I'm gonna actually ask you to grab a seat right here. I have a reading that I'm just gonna bring to you. Yes, ready to have a seat? I'm just gonna grab this reading for you.
Promise, you don't have to act like you've been punched in the head.
And so
Doing a very good
this
job.
information talks about vertebral subluxation, and it's what we're gonna
His
be
next
looking for
period.
during your examination today. I'm gonna give you a chance to read through that. I'm gonna let our exam specialists know that you're here, and they're gonna get the room set for your appointment, okay? Thank you. So I walk away, I literally tell my exam specialist, get ready, and I come back. I give him a minute to read. He's actually trying, sorry. So, Mike, I'm just gonna join you here. I have some information that I want to give to you about Castleville Chiropractic, and I'm going to take you on a quick tour before we get started with your examination. Okay? So, Castleville Chiropractic has been in practice for many, many years and owned by different doctors. But since 2000, Dr. Brian has owned the practice, and we've always looked for vertebral subluxation since that point. And the reason why we do that is because we want to get to the cause of your health concern and what's causing your digestive issues and how we can make sure to help you moving forward. And so just so you know, we do see patients from all walks of life. Our youngest patient was adjusted at 4 hours old, and our oldest patient was 97 at the time of their latest adjustment.
Wow.
Yes. And the reason why we're able to deliver the type of care that we do is actually shown through these images right behind me. And this highlights the first corrective chiropractic adjustment that was delivered in 1895. And through this adjustment, someone's hearing was actually restored. A lot of times people don't think about chiropractic and something like hearing, but through their research, they were able to determine that once we address what's going on in your central nervous system, it will allow for proper function of the body and be able to reverse something like that. Yes. Okay? And so that's why we're gonna look for what's going on in your spine, the cause, and be able to help you with that moving forward. So, Mike, if you wanna stand and follow me. We're just gonna come this way. And on this wall, I just wanna highlight for you that we have some of our patient success stories here in the office. And one common thing that you'll notice from all these patients is that they come into our office with some type of condition or symptom that's preventing them from doing something. And through what they learn in our office, through the care that we provide and the 5 essentials, they get that not only addressed, but they are able to regain function and vitality and move towards greater health.
These are all your patients?
These are not all of our patients. These are just a few of our success stories. There's actually another binder around the corner. If ever you have time, we encourage you to read through that as well. And hopefully one day, as you progress better through care, we want to have your story and add you to our wall as well.
You're a doctor?
I am not the doctor. I am the chiropractic assistant, and I'm going to take you into the examination room where your examination will happen with our specialist as well as our doctor. Okay, so Mike, I also just wanted to highlight in this area of our office, our patients do advanced rehabilitative exercises prior to their adjustments to aid in a better corrective adjustment, but then they also have different exercises that they can be doing afterwards to help mold the spine and allow for them to hold the benefit of the adjustment for an even longer period of time. Our adjusting areas are in this corner here, and they are open concept, and we do that for educational purposes. I just wanted to also point out that we do have 2 doctors that work in conjunction with each other, so either of them could be providing with you with your care throughout your care. So Dr. Brian and Dr. Drew. Today, Dr. Drew is the doctor that's in the office, so he'll be joining our exam specialist Promise to be able to go through your examination today. And we all do train with Max Living, which is a group of doctors across North America that are trying to change the way that health is being provided. And so we do, sorry, it's because I'm not in my regular
Yes.
flow. But ultimately, I'm gonna now take him into the room and I'm gonna act as if, can we just go to the front? So Mike, if I could please have you have a seat on the stool right here. Okay, great. So I know that I've given you a lot of information, and there may be something that has come to mind that you may have not included on your intake form. Now that you know about subluxation, is there anything that you want me to download to the doctors before they step in?
Well, yeah, I am started like 2 weeks ago because I still box and it's actually it meets my range of motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll definitely make sure that they're aware of the shoulder pain.
Okay.
And I'm gonna step out so that way they can come in to get started with you. Nice to meet you, and then at the end of your appointment, you'll meet our rest of our front desk team to take you through your next steps.
Okay, thank you. So the doctor's gonna come right now. Or
Yep, you can stay right here,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna give them the information about your shoulder pain, and they'll be right in.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yay, good job.
Something to that effect.
Any questions on tour from doctors or team? Because
What-
after I do my demo, you guys are gonna be doing it.
What's your normal response from patients when you're doing the tour?
To be honest with you, most of them are kind of blown away when I talk about subluxation, cause, like actually trying to know what's happening in your central nervous system. Cause they're like, this has never been addressed for me before. I've never heard it explained like this before, or whatever it is, right? So, yeah.
It's normally pretty positive though when people are given something to read.
Yes.
If
I don't really give them a chance to not have a positive response.
So piece again, so they're given this, and it's just like, hey, I have some information for you. He gets to do what he wants with it. He can leave that thing closed, but the title of it does say vertebral subluxation and chiropractic care. He's gonna hear the word subluxation about 40 times the next 15 minutes in our office. If he doesn't read that, there's gonna be a very steep learning curve. Most people, when you hand them something with a good intention, they're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm sitting in a chair, I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So they flip through it. We're not quizzing them, we're not saying you have to read this, we don't have to, we just give it to them, and then we start the tour.
You get them through Max Living, the pamphlets, brochures?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Micah.
Any other questions?
That's one of our goals, is actually to make some pamphlets for you guys. In fact, I have that on my to-do list, so that's coming. So if you guys have some input on what you would like to see in a pamphlet like that. And let me just ask you too, so Camille, that was fantastic, so thank you. You see how immediately Mike Tyson is introduced to subluxation, right? Immediately. Like he's in the office for less than a minute or two, and immediately it's subluxation. We're looking for the cause of your problem. So how many of you guys actually use the term, staff as well, I mean, how many of you use the term subluxation abundantly? Can you honestly say that? Yeah? Good. So for those of you who didn't raise your hand,
I'm glad everyone on my team raised their
is-
hand. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's not problem. I'm like, I better
right.
check. Is everyone raising their hand?
What differentiates chiropractors from physiotherapists in the patient's mind? Right?
Nothing.
Nothing. In the patient's mind, like they're coming to see some sort of a therapist, a pain therapist, right? Just because you have the term chiropractor on your door, it doesn't mean anything to the patient compared to a physiotherapist or even a massage therapist. And honestly, many of them would rank a physiotherapist and a massage therapist ahead of a chiropractor as far as skill or knowledge or awareness, like acceptance. So until you differentiate yourself, and that is the thing that we differentiate ourselves with, is subluxation. It is a term, and when you can understand the term, it's not just a pinched nerve, it's not just a bone in a place, it is a lack of life in your body. The state of subluxation is a disconnection between the spirit and the physical body. And when you are subluxated, you absolutely cannot reach your God-given potential in any way at all. Children, adults, seniors, anybody, doesn't matter. If you're subluxated, you are less than what God wants you to be. That's simple. And until you can own that, if you can own that and articulate that to the patient so they can get that in their mind, you're always going to be a therapist. That's the huge difference. That's our thing. That's our difference.
Would most, like, by raising hands, how many people here have like a, what I'd call a big why, a reason why they're a chiropractor or they're working in a chiropractor's office? How many by raise of hands feel they have that or have a good grasp around it? So the majority, right? So if you don't, that would be good homework to figure out. So like, if I'm a chiropractor, why am I a chiropractor versus doing some other profession? If I'm, a CA, like, why am I in a chiropractor's office versus working in a law office or a dental office or whatever that is? Like, why am I in this position? If you don't know that, I'd take some time to try and figure that out, because this becomes a separator now. Before I walk into a new patient exam, I always access my big why. Mine is, I watched my brother Jamie, who was the picture of health until he was diagnosed with cancer. Felt great, by the way, when he was diagnosed. Had no idea he was sick. And then went through 6 months of chemo. And then after that, finally got his first chiropractic checkup. The only person in the family, I have 2 brothers. He's my older one. My younger one's been checked. I was checked under regular care. My parents under regular care. Jamie never was. After chemo, found out he had exactly a 0-degree curve in his neck. So that's a pretty big anchor, a big why for me. When I go into that room, in my office there, I have a picture. I have a picture of Jamie that helps me anchor if I'm off or whatever. A little party my younger brother, because they're all in British Columbia. I mean, when they came out east, picture that he threw a party for Jamie before he went to chemo. Bought him like an Xbox and stuff like that, stuff he could do when he's going through chemo, and he's there unwrapping presents with his 1.5-year-old son. And that's an anchor. So when I go into that room, my anchor is then, if this is Jamie in the room, how does this exam need to go? Whatever your why is, whatever you're a chiropractor, you need to make sure you're accessing that going into the room, because who knows what could have happened out here. Who knows, like you could have just had a patient quick care or whatever, and if that version of you in that state goes into that room, that's not the person that Mike needs showing up in the room right now, right? At the beginning, I would physically go into the room and I would look at the picture and I'd be like, okay, it would take a minute or two, then I'd step out and I'd go into the exam. Now, I know that's happening in the spot where Promise picks me up at the T-bar and we take those 5 steps over there and he starts telling me what's on the exam form. I'm in my head, I can see the picture in my room, and that's enough to get me to state. The more you do it, the faster it goes. If you need to leave the adjustment area to get in state and then go into it, it's worth the 2 minutes, because it's the version of you that shows up in the room. We're gonna do this real quick. One question before we train. Any previous care for Mike?
No.
No previous care. Okay. All right. I guess you'll still be Mike. I'm gonna pretend that Promise, my tech, is also with me. All right. Hi Mike, I'm Dr. Brian, welcome to my practice. This is Promise, he's our exam specialist, he'll be helping you out today as well. Now, going through your intake form, so I see you're dealing with neck pain now. You've been dealing with it for a long time, 18 years, right? And you've now been starting to get this shoulder pain more recently, you were telling Camille?
Right.
How long has that been going on for?
Like a few weeks, I'd say.
Okay. Is it staying the same or is it getting worse?
I mean, I really can't say, but it's just there, like constant. It's
Okay.
just there. So you can see that it's actually increasing, but it's there.
Okay. And is it just in the shoulder or is the pain starting to travel down your arm yet?
It's just
Yet?
here. Just here. It's in the shoulder.
Okay. I'll take a look. The reason I say yet is I'm pre-framing. If he doesn't fix this, it's gonna continue to spread, right? All right, so you've been dealing with this neck pain for 18 years. Last 3 weeks now, this shoulder pain's been showing up as well.
Yeah.
You also deal with some breathing troubles with asthma.
Yeah, I take some relievers, but
Okay. Okay.
doesn't really help.
Okay. And you've been dealing with that like for a long time?
Like 8 years now.
That must be tough being a boxer, right?
Yeah. A lot of rest times.
Okay. And then you also have some digestive issues, acid reflux a lot of times?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So now I know you found us on an ad on Facebook, right? So from that ad, what did you see there, here in that ad, that made you decide like, hey, I had to come in and get checked today?
It's actually about what you said. You said something about like for you to live your life and live it to the full, like you really have to know exactly what's going on the inside. And sometimes when you have pain, it's not necessarily because of the ability to do what you love to do, but it can be because of function that you don't even know that is going on the inside. And I had that, and I was like, okay, let me just come in and see what you guys are doing here and check if it's a good fit.
And that's exactly, like, I'll tell you, my biggest concern with what you're describing is the chronicity, so how long it's been there. This tells me this can't be something simple like a muscle or ligament problem. It wouldn't behave like this. This tells me this has to be joint and or nerve related. It's a bigger deal, but it's what we specialize in, but we need to figure out cause. We need to figure out what's actually causing these problems for you. then can we help you and can we accept you as a patient? I can tell you if we can, you're a great spot. All of our patients get great results. The number one reason is we only accept patients for care who are really serious about their health. Why don't you say a few promise? Why is health so important to you?
Live life to the fullest.
Okay. So live life to the fullest, like what does that look like? Obviously you're boxers. I'm assuming this is impacting your boxing career.
Yeah. I actually want to be a professional boxing trainer.
Okay, so it's your career now, but then long term you're gonna be able to be a trainer, and so you need your body to do this. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna explain what you're gonna be looking for, and then Promise is gonna start the exam for you. This is the nerve chart, please. Okay. Does everyone know what a nerve chart looks like in their office? So I'm just gonna pretend there's one up here. Sorry, Mike. As I'm sure you know, your brain runs everything in your body. So all that life comes from your brain. It runs down the spinal cord. Every level, these nerves come out, and it runs everything on the inside. So yes, it's how your neck feels. It's what your shoulder feels like. But these nerves also run things like your lungs. So like your asthma, your breathing. It affects your digestion. So like the acid reflux. Even a cut on the skin. Everything is driven brain cord through the nerves. Spine's job on all of this is to protect the spinal cord and the nerves. To do its job, gotta have these 3 perfect C shapes on it, and from the front has to be perfectly straight. If anything changes with that, whether you're losing one of these C shapes in your neck or anywhere along the line, a bone comes out of place like this. This is what we call subluxation. Big word, basically meaning the spine's out of place. You can see when that happens, it pinches on the nerve. So you can imagine if that's in your neck, that's the neck pain that you're dealing with. The bigger concern is those nerves don't just control the muscles around your neck or into your shoulder, but they run all of these organs on the inside. So what we want to figure out is really what is the cause of your problem. And if it is subluxation, where is it? How do we fix it? Not just so you feel better now, but avoid any other bigger problems that may be coming down the road if you don't fix the cause. That make sense? I just went through his concern, my concern. That make sense to everybody? Last piece, these are the next steps. This is super important. I'm going to explain the exam. It's a 3-step process. It'll make sense for him as a patient going through the exam. If there's positive tests here, he knows he's dealing with subluxation, there's another test coming. If there's positive results there, there's x-rays coming. If there's x-rays coming, he knows he's coming back tomorrow. I said all up at the front, so he knows you're not trying to sell them to come back to look at x-rays the next, or come back for day 2 the next day, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're first gonna do a series of tests to first screen you for subluxation. We're gonna be looking at range of motion, posture, and balance. If there's any damage in those tests, I can tell you then yes, what you're dealing with is subluxation. We would then move on to our first advanced test. I physically move like this. It's a nerve scan developed by NASA, and it'll tell us how your nerves are running organs on the inside, so things you cannot feel. If there's damage there, then I'll be coming back in and we'll be doing digital x-ray. The x-ray is gonna tell us about subluxation, exactly where it is, how much damage it's causing, but most importantly, what do we have to do to help you correct this? Now, we won't know those details until we study the x-rays, but if we're doing x-rays today, it means there's something more serious going on, so we'll study them tonight, and my team will set a time right away as early as tomorrow so we can sit down and I can let you know what we found, but more importantly, as long as we can help you, is start that process of helping you correct it. Any questions on any of that?
Yeah, X-ray for what? Like X-ray of what? What are you doing X-ray for?
Do we normally get this question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes
Okay.
always. Like you said X-ray of my neck. Or
So we take an x-ray of your spine
okay.
to find out if there's damage there
Uh-huh.
causing subluxation, where it is, and how we help you correct that.
That's what I tell them. Yeah.
Perfect. Any other questions at all?
Like, are we starting now or? No. They actually ask.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I usually start with you, so I
Yeah.
start after you leave.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tell them Promise is gonna take over and do the other tests.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Promise is gonna start the exam, if we're doing extras in a few minutes.
Okay.
What's the cost? When do they
They know the cost before they ever come in.
already know it from before?
Yeah.
They know on booking what it's gonna cost.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do not. If someone asks me if I'm coming back for day 2, what's the cost of tomorrow, I tell
I'm
them.
just wondering where you tell them.
So for the new patient examination, when they book the exam, we have an online offer through Facebook, and a lot of times we confirm that because they found us online, the fee for their examination is going to be $75, so it happens in that first day 0 call.
Do you book the second appointment at the same time?
No.
Okay.
So Promise does the range of motion, the scales, whatnot, and then you come in to do the sub check,
how it works at your office?
So the flow is Promise will do exactly what we do that first set of tests. He'll do posture, range of motion, balance testing. If there's damage there, we go on to our second test, which is the nerve scan. So he'll do the thermal scan. And if there's color on there, he's going to be like, yeah, so that's subluxation. So that's definitely the cause of your problem. I know we have Dr. Briner will be doing x-rays, so he'll be back in just a minute. He comes and gets me. I step out of the adjusting area. He tells me, okay, so we just checked Mike. Mike's got posture issues, range of motion issues, balance is off, and there was 3 red and 2 blue on his scan. So I step in. Hey Mike, so obviously with all that color on your scan, obviously you know you're dealing with subluxation. What we need to find out now is what's causing that and how we help you correct that. So 2 things we're going to do. One, I'm going to feel down your spine to feel the motion, the position, palpating. And we're going to take 2 x-rays at the top of your spine and 2 x-rays at the bottom of your spine. That's the second piece. We're going to talk about that part after lunch.
So what with this, with the system that they've developed, what resonates with you so far?
It's their directing patients. There's steps that allow them to understand, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of questions.
Do you think that they train on this stuff?
Yes.
Like it clearly.
First time.
Yes.
First time.
So, but the training has created an incredible amount of what?
Confidence.
Certainty and confidence, right? So how does that make you, Mike Tyson, feel?
Confident that you can take care of it.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, if there's a proposal coming up, do you feel certain that Brian's the guy for you? Then there it is, right?
Yeah.
What I liked in it, I guess the reason why I've heard this is, that you're gonna accept them as a patient, which is interesting. It's like, instead of the patient accepting, you're accepting them as a patient. That was really nicely put.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
And asking them if they're serious about their health.
Yeah.
well, for me, like literally on our exam card, it's a Q, and on our training, that's their qualifying question.
Yeah.
Do they qualify for care?
Yeah.
And it's not being ego or a dick about it or anything like that, but I'm like, if they're not committed to their health, they're not gonna have success here. They're just not. Like, that's the whole swim to the boat piece. I will tell you, you have to ask that question with emotional intelligence. Like, if I ask that like in a combative nature, that comes off as a dick question. If I ask that question the way I do, it feels like they're like, wow, that's a deep question. Like doctors don't ask this type of stuff, right? But I've heard from some of the gruffest people some amazing reasons why they gotta be healthy. Like, I remember Norm one time sitting down, he's like, well, my kids are getting older, I'm hoping I'm gonna have grandkids at some point, I wanna be able to play with them. And this is a guy who's never been serious at ever during an adjustment, but he was very serious in that moment. But now I know something about Norm, and now I know how to help Norm.
How, like, I'm doing a full exam myself in the x-ray, so how long should I be taking to do all that? Like, Victoria does the tour and then I take over? So what do you
15
think?
minutes they should be in the exam. 15 minutes in the exam room. If you're taking longer than that, it's you don't have the proper paperwork, so you have to ask them all of your exam questions.
Yeah.
Right, 'cause the thing that builds, if you can answer a question before a patient answers it, or asks it, sorry, you are building their trust in you. So when I go in and I tell Promise or Mike, so I understand you've been dealing with neck pain for this long, you're now getting shoulder pain over the last 3 weeks, you also have asthma and acid reflux, I've just wrapped up a summary of him in a small little box, and it's like, yeah, this guy's done his paperwork, he understands me, he's done my homework, that's a trust builder right away.
Yeah.
Versus coming in and be like, I'm just gonna have some, like a detective and I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
That's 15 minutes that takes you in your exam that should not happen in the exam.
We have
If
a lot
your
of-
goal is to take care of a lot of
Yeah.
people.
We have a lot of details, but then I'm asking them, like, I don't need to repeat it, it's already there. So
I
then
just, so you
go
see,
with it.
so I
say it in a
summed it up for
statement.
him?
Yeah, yeah.
It was like 2 sentences.
Yeah,
I ask refining questions,
yeah.
if you need to.
With the people that are booking online, we do a confirmation call too after we get it, let's say on Monday morning. But we have trouble reaching them sometimes. What's your process in terms of trying to get a hold of those people that book online and confirming?
You gotta answer now, Charlie, because they're in the back room. Well, how do they? Charlie's like, I'm thinking about lunch. He says sometimes they have a hard time reaching people who book online.
We leave them voice message, we send them text.
To call you back to do the confirmation call?
Yeah, so for us, like the point, they need to confirm, that's for confirming the appointment, we need to talk to them. Yeah, and the reason is we need that hot button.
I can answer this. some people do not listen to the messages and they do not answer their phone. But if they did do online, I found you can have way better conversations on text. So your whole day zero might be via text.
Yeah, yeah, we can do it, yeah, whichever way they communicate.
You, like, it's the
that's
way
why we
they
do
may
both.
prefer their communication methods.
So we used to train on this very regularly, and I'm gonna tell you, we were really good at it, because in staff meetings, we would talk about how urgent it was for people to come in. And we've been doing Facebook advertising since 2014. And same thing, right? Patients would, they'd schedule, they'd be in the middle of the night, they'd schedule, they forget they scheduled. But we had our list, and every single staff meeting, we were going over a list of new patients, where they were in the qualification. And we appointed one person to be in charge of that list, and it was her duty, and she took it upon herself, like, this is my mission to get these people in, and I'm going to actively pursue them until they tell me where to go or tell me to stop calling. Like, and so she was taking that list home at night, and she would call through the day, she would text them, email them, like, until she got a response of leave me alone or yes, I'm booked, right? So, and it was like, she was, and seriously, we talked about this, she goes, a lot of people are home between 9 and 10 at night, that's when I call. She goes, or before they leave for work in the morning, I'll call sometimes at 7. And she goes, some people get a little upset with that, but most people, it's great, you got in touch with me, I'm getting ready to get the kids to school or whatever the case is. Yeah. So she just took the steps and did it. Like, this is serious stuff. Why would I, it's life or death. Why would I not worry about calling them at 9:30 at night or 7 in the morning? So she was great at it, and so we got a lot of those leads coming in as we go.
Well, we've been doing it recently, and we're having a hard time communicating with phone and email and all the system that they're running, which is great. It has the options of emailing them, texting them, and then we call everybody, and there's still people that don't answer, and they weren't showing up for appointments, so we started in the text messages saying, as many people have said, is until they communicate with us, their appointments aren't confirmed, and we've had to start improving and make those options available for people.
Especially that younger generation, they don't talk.
We had 11
Yeah.
people in a row not show up.
Yeah.
And of them, like, we called them, text them, it goes, I can show you a list of people that just don't answer.
Yeah. But they'll text. Yeah.
No, they weren't even texting.
Oh, they won't text.
Because they had an automation going on with the text. and
Those
they
are the
don't even
people you
respond to
remove,
them.
yeah.
It's not even, it's like they've forgotten their
But that's,
phones.
and so keep this in mind too, like, so let's just think about this for a second.
Facebook
Facebook people are not looking for you, right? You're looking for them. So they just happen to be in the way when you're looking for somebody, and oh, this has intrigued me enough to at least put my name and email in, right? At least opt in to your offer that you're doing. So they're not actively looking for a chiropractor. So you have to take it a step further to say, okay, this is somebody who's shown a little teeny spark of interest here. I gotta do whatever I can to throw gasoline on that fire and get them really interested and get them to commit to come in here. So I really have to take it that, so it's different than a referral. It's different, like, you have to take an extra step and kind of think that way.
Has anybody tried having them prepay for the visit online?
That's what we were just talking about.
We're working toward, we haven't done it yet, and we did someone out last week, because we said, we called them, we actually got in touch with the patient, said, to confirm your appointment, we were taking it online. She's like, well, I can't do that right now, it's during the week, and I called myself. So on Monday, I said, our staff will call, confirm your appointment, at that time she'll take a payment to reserve your spot, and she didn't do it, so.
And we do that, we always ask for a credit card on the confirmation call, and I'm thinking even on the app, like, when they get through the funnel to the point they're booking it.
I think their system is set up where you can take payments, it's not.
Yeah, we're
You
reducing
can,
the
there's
number
all
of
kinds of
visits,
different
but-
ways to do it, and you have to realize, like, whether you want to try to attract as many leads as possible and then have the systems on the back end to convert those leads, or whether you want to try to weed the leads out at the beginning. And this is all just part of the whole advertising conversation, so it all depends on what you want. In my opinion, so here's my thing, if I was in an office and I'd be advertising, I would have a very, very low bar offer to come in. In fact, I would offer a free consultation. Here's the thing, here's the thinking, right? And actually, we had a little bit of this conversation, is that you offer a free consultation. People inherently know it's not free. Like, they know they're gonna get into something where it's gonna be, they're not gonna get chiropractic care for free. But I would lower the bar so much that I could get enough people to say, yeah, okay, I'll come in, I'll check it out, I'll have a free consultation. I might even throw in a free examination, whatever that is. to get as many people as possible in front of me so I can share the principle with them. And I know a large number of those people are gonna say, yeah, this resonates with me, I wanna follow through and have the rest of the exam, and then the first adjustment and so on, but they're paying for them, right? So, there's all kinds of different ways to do it, and all kinds of different mindsets, so this is all part of what we wanna try to create.
It's the goals that you put the action steps towards it.
Right.
Any other questions on day one? We're gonna do lunch then, and then we'll train after.
That was awesome, you guys. Well,
So,
very well.
we're gonna restart at 1:15. We're gonna restart at 1:15, so you have about 40 minutes to eat, digest, move around, whatever you need.
Sorry.
Josh to the feeding trough. Camille, do you wanna give people instructions on what they do over there?
Camille, do the lunch tour, please.
Are we all set for?
Okay.